Okay, I'm going to have to wear my glasses. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for those of you who are either joining me live or the people who are going to be watching back. I'm not sure if I'm going to record these going forward, simply because it's unlikely that if you can't attend at the time, that you'd be able to, within the 24-hour window that we have for this work, be able to watch a replay back. So I'll gather people's thoughts and kind of make a decision then. But today is the focus is on the cold moon for December. And the themes for the cold moon are completion, renewal, peace, reflection, and shadow work. So what we're going to be doing is going through the various elements of moon journaling. So we're going to start off with a little bit of information about the cold moon. We're going to be doing some breathing exercises, some reflection points that will give you the opportunity to journal. We'll also have some tapping that's relevant to the moon. And then we'll just close with a gentle intention. So you will get the chance to do the work as we do it, and I should be doing the work with you. So let's just start off with a bit of information about the cold moon. So each year, there are moons that happen every month, and the December cold moon marks the final full moon of the year. So it is about completion. It is about that period of rest. Realistically, we are supposed to be in hibernation mode at this point, rather than still having the busy life that we've got and the pressures of Christmas. So it's about having the opportunity to have some honest reflection and a bit of a reset before the new cycle begins in the new year. So let's start off with some rounds of breathing. So if I can invite you to place both feet on the floor, ideally not in your slippers or your shoes if you've got them on, ideally just bare feet if you can. And what we're going to be doing is inhaling for 4, holding for 2, and exhaling for 6. And what this does is it starts the vagus nerve and it stimulates it to bring calming. So the idea is that it resets your nervous system. So we're going to go in for 4, hold for 2, and out for 6. In for 4, 2, 3, 4, hold for 2, 1, 2, out for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In again. Hold for 2 and out for 6. In for 4. Hold for 2 and out for 6. Give your shoulders a little shake. Just give a bit of a grounding moment. So feet still on the floor, hand on either your heart space or your diaphragm just above your belly. Okay, and then come back into the room when you're ready. Okay. So the cold moon is the final illumination of the year. It holds completion and quiet honesty. It shines light on what we've outgrown, what we're ready to release, and the shadow aspects we often avoid. This moon isn't about rushing into the new at this point. It's just about the stillness, reflection, and softness. It gives us an opportunity to look at what hasn't worked without judgment and step into the winter's invitation to pause, reset, and turn into peace. So the completion element is tying up emotional and energetic loose ends. So anything that you have wanted to complete within this year, anything that you are partway through in terms of the inner work that you're doing. Renewal is about preparing a clear inner space for the year ahead. And one of the things I love doing in between Christmas and New Year when we take a bit of time off is to have a bit of a declutter and preparing that space, you know, what no longer serves you for this year, both in the physical, but also in your headspace as well. And then the peace element is softening that nervous system tension. So if you are feeling in chaos, it's about using things like the 4-6 breathing that we've just done. You can also utilize little squeezes on your eyebrow to start your vagus nerves chemical reaction. Reflection is looking at the patterns of this year. Is there anything you want to let go of ready for 2026? I know that 2025 has been a really hard year for lots of people, and being honest about what you've done this year and how that's impacted on you, it just gives the opportunity for that. And then the shadow work, acknowledging hidden fears, attachments, and coping mechanisms. But the biggest part of that is looking at those just as data. It's like 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock is not good or bad, it just is. So when you are looking at those hidden fears and attachments, all the coping mechanisms that you've put in place, it's having the self-compassion for that as well. Okay, so with a view that the cold moon helps us to see clearly, let's start doing some journal prompts and look at that in a bit more detail for ourselves. So I'm going to pop it into the chat because I, for one, am definitely the kind of person who go, sorry, can you say that again? And forget the second. Right. Note to self, must copy and paste this next time. Okay, so in the chat, I've just popped, what am I ready to complete from this year, emotionally, mentally, and energetically? So I'm just going to put an 8, where have I put my phone? An 8 minute, an 8 minute timer on. You are welcome, if you would like to, whilst you're journaling, to pop on some meditation music or something that you find quite calming. I still haven't worked out how to do that on Zoom yet, so bear with me. And the timer for 8 minutes is starting now. I'll try and give you warnings when we're getting near to the end as well. Just to let you know, we're just under halfway through. You've got 3.5 minutes left. If you just want to wrap up your writing, whilst you're wrapping up, I'm just going to put some more questions into the chat. We're going to go again with another journaling point, but you can choose one of these, do a little overview of all of them, or just choose whatever suits you. So the next question is, what shadows or patterns became clear to me recently, and how can I meet them with compassion? Just putting that one in the chat now. The one after that is, where do I crave peace? And what needs to be released to create it? And then the last of them, what part of me feels ready for renewal as I move into the coming year. So all of those are in there now. You can either continue with what you were already writing, pick one of those, pick an overview of all of them, whatever feels right to you. Do feel free to take a photo of the questions if you want to continue them later. And do feel free to leave a gap in between what you've written so far if you want to extend that. So we're going for another 8 minutes again, and I'll be back with you. Just over 3 minutes left for this one. One minute left. And time is up. So if you want to finish off this writing that you're doing at the moment, the sentences that you're writing, and then we will move on to a bit of releasing. So whilst you're still sort of finishing up, I will just introduce you to what we're doing for tapping. So if you haven't done tapping before, it is at the very least a really calming and relaxing practice. But what it actually does is it evens out, if you like, your energies within some key parts of you. So tapping on these various parts of your body is actually incredibly powerful. And you can do tapping with a script, which is what we're going to be doing this evening. Or you can just be tapping on the various parts of your body. So what I'll do first is I'll show you all of the points so you know where we're going to be tapping, but you are just going to be following me. So one is, so you take 2 fingers, you have a point above your eyebrow, you have one to the side of your eye, one underneath your eye, one between your nose and top lip, one on your chin, one on like your collarbone just here. And then the other one for the girls in the room is just where your underwiring meets your bra. That's the other one as well. And then top of the head. And we start off by taking 2 fingers on what's called the karate chop points, the fleshy part of your hand. So if you were going to do a karate chop, it's that part there. Okay, so all you need to do is you can either listen to the statements and do the tapping, or you can say them to yourselves. You're all on mute, so I won't be able to hear you. Or you can say them to yourselves in your head or out loud whilst I'm saying them too. So we're going to start off. So the setup is always on your karate chop point, and we will say each of the phrases 3 times, and then just follow what I'm doing. So, even though I've been holding on to heavy parts of this year, I allow myself to move towards peace. Even though I have been holding on to heavy parts of this year, I allow myself to move towards peace. Even though I have been holding on to heavy parts of this year, I allow myself to move towards peace. Even though some of my shadows feel uncomfortable to face, I choose compassion tonight. Even though some of my shadows feel uncomfortable to face, I choose compassion tonight. Even though some of my shadows feel uncomfortable to face, I choose compassion tonight. Even though letting go feels unfamiliar, I am open to renewal. Even though letting go feels unfamiliar, I am open to renewal. Even though letting go feels unfamiliar, I am open to renewal. I've been carrying so much from this year. Some of it is ready to complete. I acknowledge my shadows with kindness. I honour what they've taught me. I soften into peace. I release tension and expectations. I allow myself to rest. I welcome renewal. I choose peace. I choose peace. I am safe to let go. I am safe to let go. I honour my growth. I honour my growth. I step into a gentle, grounded renewal. I step into a gentle, grounded renewal. Just take a moment just to take a breath in, hand on your heart space. And then we've just got an intention setting to close the session. May everything released under this cold moon dissolve gently and completely. May we step into a season of peace, grounded, calm, and whole. May the shadows we met tonight be held with compassion, transformed into wisdom, and integrated with love. May the year behind us be honoured and the year ahead be entered with clarity and light. And may we leave tonight lighter, steadier, and more connected with the truth of who we are. So, whilst I just give you some closing instructions, do feel free to pop into the chat or send to me if you're watching on replay one word from this evening session. I would invite you for the rest of the evening just to make sure that you are drinking plenty of water and that you are resting and that you continue the journaling that you have got. And you have until approximately 4 p.m. tomorrow to complete your journaling for it to be in the most powerful part of the full moon tonight. If you have got things like crystals, if you have got oracle cards, then again, I invite you to put those in somewhere that the moonlight can touch them tonight to really strengthen those as much as possible. I've also got pendulums, so I'll be putting my pendulums out for the moon as well. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to turn the recording off now. And thank you to those who are watching on replay.